Well, hello again. My name's Penny. I live in the southeast of England with my husband Pete and my 4 chickens. And those 4 chickens aren't that happy at the minute because due to DEFRA, they've said we've had to all stay in. No, not me, but them. They've all chickens across the UK have got to stay in. They've got to be covered up overhead so that no poop from the wild birds gets down on their patch to stop bird flu. Yeah, so the migrating birds bring it across. In 12 years, I think it's only a couple of times I've had to do it. Last year it was 4 months, which wasn't very nice, but they're very good. They get used to it, but they do look out as if to say, please let us out. But there we are, you can't. So I've bought them some things from Omelette, which is a chicken coop maker. And I went down this morning early, and broccoli and all of that was all gone when I went down just after lunch. And I've also bought this, you put seed in it and it doesn't fall out. They have to push it and then it falls out once they've tapped it. So that'll keep them quiet. So things like that, I'd have to think up new things, and they'll be all right. Because they go to bed at 4 and they get up about 7:15 now. So it's a long old time. But I tell you, it'll be lovely when everything's, back to normal. So that's that. Yeah, getting colder, isn't it? Can feel it. Well, obviously we can feel it. I'm going to talk rubbish today. I've got it. I can feel it in my bones. I've had a haircut. So what's on board today? All right then. We're going to do a fascinating fact, which is about big creatures in the sea. We're going to have a little chat with Mum about just before she moves to Harlow. It's after the war now, thank goodness, so we haven't got to dodge all the bombs. And what else? A little film. We haven't been out much. Pete sort of, you know how you crick your neck and he can't move his neck? Not much anyway. So he didn't want to go out in the cold. He's been wrapped up in the warm and it's been fine, but we haven't been out for our usual walks. So I went down today and just took the chickens, and that'll just end it off. And I'm going to do a little bit of TA. Now TA, as you know, I was a counsellor for the NHS. I've retired, and if you're new here, TA is a form of counselling that is very, very helpful. I can teach it to you and then you can apply it. It's not like having a one-to-one session, which obviously I couldn't do here. If you don't fancy it, just fast forward, because I put all the stamps along the bottom, all the time stamps, so you can just skip that. Or you can listen and think, what the heck is she talking about? But I started in episode 12. If you'd like to go back and catch up. So welcome. Nice to see you again, and nice to see you if you're new. Oh, they're seagulls, very white. We had a little egret in the garden last night. Yeah, you've seen those on my films, haven't you? The white bird, like the heron, yeah? But very white with the long neck and the big yellow feet. He was just having a wander around, thinking he might go in the pond, but he chose not to. So, shall I show you what I've been up to? Well, I watch SpaKnits, and her name is Anne. I've watched her since episode 1. She's been a knitter for years and years and years, as have I. And yeah, so she showed some fabric last week and showed where she bought it from, and I hadn't heard of them. And you know what? 2 girls run it, I think. And Bob's your uncle, before you could say Jack Robinson, it had arrived, because although I said I wasn't buying any more fabric, I couldn't resist it. It's so beautiful. And I just thought of Duncan, Duncan's my little mouse that I knitted, and he sits on the sofa with his chums at the beginning, if you're new. And I've never been a one for knitting toys, but there's something about it that's quite, well, it could say addictive, but then the other part of my brain says no. I like to knit things that can be used. But, well, if they bring pleasure, why not? So yesterday the fabric arrived, And last night I thought, that's it. Pete said I'm off to bed. I thought, well, I'm going to make a project bag. Project bags, they're new for me. You know, I mean, obviously people have been using them since the year dot, but I never was a YouTuber till lockdown. As a lot of people, I think, they started watching YouTube. And I realised that people use project bags all the time. But as you know, I like to make one particular kind of bag, and you can get your woolies in there, whatever you're knitting. But then I've become a sock knitter. Pete loves his socks, and now my grandson said he wants a pair, and I made a little pair for Tommy, so there'll always be a pair of socks on my needles. And I thought, I need a little project bag, otherwise I leave it on the settee, and those needles, I like DPNs, and it's not good to leave it on the settee. So I made myself a project bag. I bought 2 fat quarters. Last night there I was, using my machine, making it, and it's not something I've ever done before, a project bag. But I'm pleased with it. Not good enough to sell or anything like that, nor would I want to, but it's suitable for me. And I've just got ribbon out of my, box with ribbon in. I would like to, yes, I'd like a different colour, but hey ho, it's what I had in my box, so I've just put it on for now. But when I'm out and about, I might just see the right thing, So do you want to see it? Here it is. It's got wadding in it because I like things, to be a little bit more. Isn't it cute? Look at that. It's so beautiful, isn't it? And I thought, oh no, I should have used this, the mousy one, in the bottom, because you can see more of the bottom. So I put myself a nice big pocket on it because I wanted to use it. So I have used every single scrap of a fat quarter of that, and I've got about that much left of the mouse. So there it is. You have to peer around just to make sure it's in focus. Yeah. Open up. I've put a big deep pocket in here, but you can't see that. But there you are. It's in there. Yes, there's the pocket in there. And what you can do is turn it over at the top. It's box bottomed, so it stands up on its own. And what you can do is then pop it down and then use your knitting from there and keep the wool in there, save it slippy sliding everywhere. So I'm really pleased with it. You can hang it on the door. You can, it'll take care of itself. I did a little bit of machine fancy bit around the top. So I'll show you what's inside. Well, you've seen the beginning of these. I can't knit socks in an afternoon. I really can't. They take me about 2 weeks to knit Pete a pair of socks, not me, but to knit. I mean, he's got 72 stitches on the needle and he likes them long. So there they are, coming along. He likes them. I say to him, shall I make them a bit shorter? Oh, no. So there they are. I've turned the heel, which I love doing. And yeah, I'm just knitting along now. So I should be finished those by Sunday. Just sitting knitting, watching telly, Then I've got another week to make another one. But I'm not in a rush. I kept thinking, why do I feel like I'm in a rush? Is it because I want to show you on Chinwag? Well, there was a little bit of that, and I thought, stop it. Doesn't matter how long it takes you. This is for enjoyment, and I know he keeps saying, are my socks nearly done? Anyway, they take me quite a while because it's fine wool, isn't it? And fine needles. But even finer needles, I have started. These are 2mm. Everything I knit looks like a rat. It's Garthenor organic wool, And I tell you what, it's the nicest, it's their Shetland range. It's the nicest wool to knit with ever. Garthenor, yeah. I'll put it down in the box below. But I'm making the little Tootsie Bear. He looks like a rat at the minute, but he will look like a bear when he's all stuffed out. And he's got a little hat on and a cable jumper when he's done. And you knit him all in one. So here I am now. I've done the neck and I'm going down. You don't knit him in parts and then sew him together. So that's what I've done so far. He looks like a hungry bear at the moment. But I'll show you as I go along. So that's me for this week. So I popped round to see Mum. We had a little chinwag. Oh dear, I've got messages coming in. We popped round and I had a little chinwag. So shall we pop round there now? I'll see you in a minute then.
Hello.
Yes. Now, Mum's going to talk about her move from... Now, where were you living, Mum? I've lost track.
Drayton Park.
Drayton Park you were living. And then you're going to move to...
We're going to move to Leighton, which is in the east of London.
That's right. That's a big move for you, Mum, because you're a North Londoner.
Yes.
Islington and all Drayton Park, all of that.
Yes.
And then you're moving to... Which... Is that far from Covent Garden? It's not that far, Islington, is it? It's sort of along that way for people that don't really know where any of it is.
You could get a bus.
Yeah, you couldn't
you?
Most people know Covent Garden.
Yes.
But then you move to Leighton, which is East London, which is entirely different.
Yes.
And then you were told of a place in Harlow, which was amazingly different.
Yes.
So let's start with the move then.
Well, the move from Drayton Park came about because Dad's parents lived just in the cul-de-sac, mostly 3-bedroom houses.
Oh, that's right. Nice little suburban road, wasn't it? Dagenham Road, but it sort of just went round like that.
Right.
And then your bit was right at the top of that bit. So you were near Nanny.
So we were really just across the road from Nanny.
Yes.
Round the corner in a sense.
And how old was I? About 2?
You were 18 months when we moved there.
Okay.
And that was just 3 doors away from Freddie Medell, our best man,
who
let us have his house for a couple of days for our honeymoon.
Yeah.
When we were married. And so he then lived only 3 doors away. So Dad and he were very, saw a lot of one another. But the flat came about because the people that owned the house had retired.
Right.
And they wanted to let the top floor of their house. And so Mum and Dad recommended us, and so we were able to move there because that was 3 rooms and not 2 rooms, and it was in a nice house, just on the top floor.
But this is 1951 you're talking about now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, 1951.
Yes.
And it was nicer then because you had 3 rooms.
Yes.
You had a bath?
Yes. We had.
Oh, you had a bath?
We were able to use the bath.
Right.
But we also had a big board above on top of the bath, which we could put things because we didn't have
extra storage.
Yes. So we had to move that when we did have a bath. But
so quite luxury, really, to be able
compared
to.
Yeah. And we were allowed to use the garden, and they were very cooperative about that.
But I did something naughty in the garden, didn't I, Mum?
Well, you did, because her husband had grown this grapevine, and he had been growing for 2 years, and he'd been waiting very patiently to see grapes on it. And one morning I took you down into the garden just to play and have a walk around, but there was a toilet in the garden, an outside toilet, and I just popped in there while you were walking about and enjoying yourself. But when I came out, what did you have in your hand but a grape?
Oh, no.
And he apparently had waited 2 years for these grapes to grow, and he knew that there were 2 grapes on it when they'd gone out shopping.
Oh.
And of course, when he came back, and of course we weren't there then, we were upstairs and we doing things, and he was really, really furious because you'd eaten one of these grapes.
Oh no! Oh dear, it's stuck in your mind, hasn't it, Mum?
So you had a homegrown grape there, yes, and that's something
really
that's never left my mind, because I can see him now,
Yeah.
just standing there.
Oh,
but of course, that was a happy year when we were there, because
happy year, good.
you were only, Mum and Dad were only across, Dad's mum and dad were only across the road, so we spent a lot of time there.
And I was toddling around, wasn't I? I wasn't that baby.
No.
You felt more confident, probably, did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Dad was out a lot again, because I think he was working. But then with Freddie Medell, I think he did decorating in the evenings.
Yes,
and
that
the weekends.
was an extra job for him.
He's always was a worker, wasn't he, Dad?
Yes.
Always busy doing something.
There was never any wasted time.
No.
What time there was not wasted. It was used in some way.
And I don't have any memories there, Mum, but when I think about it, we talk about forming bonds, don't we?
Yes.
But there I am, age 18 months, whereas, Anne in Ireland, my aunt, she was 10 years older than me, still is 10 years older than me, as you know. And so that would make her 11 and a half, which I'm sure we must have seen each other and formed those bonds quite strongly.
We spent a lot of time with them
right.
because they were only across the road, and also often went out shopping with them. And we did lots of
things together, which I have no memory at all about. But it must be in there somewhere, mustn't it?
Yes,
I'm sure all the things we do is there.
You were only 18 months, you weren't.
No.
2.5 when we left.
Yes.
So it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. You were very young to remember all sorts of things.
And so then, of course, we left a year later, because apparently the local vicar, had told my granddad that there were places being built in Harlow Newtown, and how you ought to have a look at that.
Yes.
And so you did. You fell in love with it.
Yes.
And up sticks. I mean, that is up in
and it was
sticks.
marvellous for us to be recommended, because once the new towns were built, like Welwyn Garden City, and you still had to be recommended, because everybody who lived in rooms wanted to go there.
Right.
If they could.
Okay, so you were privileged then of being recommended.
Yes.
And what was it like when you got there, Mum?
Oh, it was wonderful, because it was in the country then, really.
Yes.
And Harlow Old Town was only very small. It was like a little village.
Yeah.
But the new town there was big flats, small flats, and I think
first high-rise flat. Only adults were allowed to live in it, no children, and it had balconies, and it was quite innovative. And and a nice what do you call it? Shopping centre.
Oh, the shopping centre was absolutely lovely. It was really.
It was like a precinct. You could walk about. I've got a picture of it here.
Yes.
And then Dad got to work. Well, eventually, I think he was friendly with a guy who drove him there.
Yes.
But he went to work on the Green Line bus. Which I'll show you
that
here.
Was very well used, and it was a lovely,
people
comfortable
used it
bus.
then all
yes,
the time.
they used it.
And here you are, Mum, in this flat, Tannisdale, and it was wonderful for you.
Oh, it was lovely.
Had a sink. Had a bath.
Had a bath. We had 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms.
So you had your own little bedroom.
And I think I slept out, you said, on the bed.
Yes, when the weather was fine.
Yeah.
We had a little bed out there for you.
A little bed on the balcony.
Up, yes, and you loved it out there.
Because I was an outdoor girl, wasn't I?
Oh, you loved the fresh air. Yes.
It's like my great-granddaughter now, Mila. She loves being outdoors.
Oh,
yeah. No. And I did too then.
And because we had a nice view as well. There was all sorts of things going on. So when you were on the balcony, there was always something going on that you could see.
Nice neighbours.
Because we were Oh, lovely neighbours, yes. We were friends with those for a long time afterwards, after we moved.
So it's like you'd landed in, a jar of honey.
Yes.
It was lovely.
Yes.
Sweet.
Loads and loads of cupboards. When I say loads and loads of cupboards, but compared to what we had before, which was nothing.
Yeah, but all modern as well, Mum.
Oh,
everything was modern.
It was the beginning of another life, really.
It was.
That's the way to put it.
So life became a lot easier.
Yes.
And I think you've got a little job too.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that next time.
Yes. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. My friends have sent me some questions to ask Mum about life in the war, I think. Does she remember being in an air raid shelter? Was Suet rationed? Well, I'm going to ask the questions next week, and then we'll move on to her moving in Harlow. So, what's next? Fascinating fact? This is about great monsters of the deep sea. A monster suddenly ascends from the sea, snatches the boat and drags the sailors down to a watery grave. This storyline provides the plot for legends that have persisted through the ages. But do monsters that large really exist? Well, let's see, shall we? In 2007, a colossal squid was accidentally caught by fishermen in the Ross Sea off Antarctica. It was about 33 feet long, or 10 metres, including its tentacles, and it weighed over 1,000 pounds, nearly 500 kilograms. Scientists believe that this species of squid can grow even larger. A similar sea monster, known as the giant squid, has a torpedo-shaped body, eyes that can be as large as a human head, a parrot-like beak strong enough to cut a steel cable, 8 arms with rows of suckers, and 2 long tentacles that bring food to its mouth. It can propel itself through the water at 20 miles an hour, or 30 kilometres, and even launch itself into the air. Fewer than 50 sightings of such giants have been reported in the last century, and these creatures have never been studied in the wild. Colossal and giant squids, however, are just a meal for an even larger animal, the sperm whale, which can grow to about 60 feet in length, or 20 metres, and weigh as much as 50 tons. One tooth alone weighs 2 pounds, 900 kilograms. Dead sperm whales have been found with portions of giant squid in their stomach. These whales also had circular scars from squid suckers on their huge blunt heads, showing that the squid put up a hard fight. In 1965, the crew of a Soviet whale boat claimed to have seen a battle between a giant squid and a 40-ton sperm whale. Neither survived. The strangled whale was found afloat in the sea with the head of the squid in its stomach. Huge indeed are the giant squid and the sperm whale. Yet the blue whale, the largest mammal, surpasses them in size. The longest blue whale on record was 108 foot, 33 metres, adult female, caught in Antarctica. The blue whale may weigh as much as 150 tons. The weight of its tongue alone is equal to that of an adult elephant. And just imagine, it gives birth to a 3-ton calf that is 23 to 27 feet long, or 7 to 8 metres. Hunted by whalers, the blue whale became nearly extinct by the 1960s and today is classified as a critically endangered species. With its 3,000 formidable teeth, the great white shark is perhaps the most frightening carnivorous fish. The largest great white on record was 23 feet long, or 7 metres, and weighed 7,000 pounds, 3,200 kilograms. grams. This shark has an extraordinary sense of smell, being able to detect 1 drop of blood diluted in 25 gallons or 100 litres of water. The whale shark is the largest of living fish, averaging some 25 feet in length. However, some can reach nearly twice that size. Its mouth can be up to 4 feet wide or 1.4 meters, easily capable of swallowing a man, but far from being a ferocious predator of other large sea creatures, this gentle giant feeds on tiny plankton and small fish. The whale shark's unusual digestive anatomy, reported National Geographic magazine, lends itself to Jonah stories, referring to the biblical incident about the prophet Jonah being swallowed by a great fish. Whale sharks have a non-violent way of getting rid of large objects of dubious digestibility they swallow accidentally. Another large sea creature is the giant octopus, which can weigh up to 600 pounds. Once called devilfish, it was thought to be able to sink ships. Yet this octopus is actually shy and hides in rock dens and crevices on the sea floor. Its 8 arms can have a span of 30 feet or 10 meters, and it possesses the largest brain of any invertebrate. Indeed, octopuses are highly intelligent and can learn complex tasks such as solving mazes and unscrewing jar lids. Like the giant squid, the giant octopus can camouflage itself by changing colour, use jet propulsion to move through the water, and escape danger by squirting a dense cloud of ink. The octopus can even leave the water for a short time to search for food on land. These creatures of the deep are truly amazing. Well, Jaws springs to mind, doesn't it? Amazing. When you think, eyes as big as my head. Truly amazing facts. Thanks for sharing them with me. Well, I shared them with you, but I hope you enjoyed them. So it's TA now, and then it's the little film. So shall we get on with it? Well, we were talking about strokes, weren't we? Do you remember what a stroke is? It's a unit of recognition. We've got verbal and non-verbal. We've got positive and negative, and we've got conditional and unconditional. And you can have a look back at the previous episodes if you want to brush up on that. But this week I wanted to talk about a stroke filter. I picture it as, having a sieve in front of me. And if I get a stroke that doesn't fit in with my preferred stroke quotient, well, for the strokes that I imagine that I'm due, that I deserve, if it doesn't fit in with that, then I reject it. Yeah. So, for instance, I might say, you're so good at putting things together and you're so good at describing things. But if when you were a little child, you thought, oh no, I'm much better at doing something else, then you'll just say, oh, well, it's nothing. You won't accept that. So we have these strokes that we imagine we deserve. And if we get strokes that we imagine we don't deserve, this is thoughts that we've made when we were very young. We don't let them through the filter. And so, in other words, we're missing out on a lot because we could get a lot more strokes than we allow ourselves. So some people, when they're young, they think, oh no, positive strokes aren't good. I'm used to getting negative ones. And so when they get a positive stroke as they grow up, they don't accept it. Remember last week we said, oh, I like your hair. Oh, it needs washing. I've had it cut actually this week. Oh, it needs washing. Oh, we filter them out. So we need to know how to open up, how to dissolve that stroke filter and let these strokes through so that we can benefit. Strokes that you have to ask for are worthless. Oh, well, if I have to ask for a kiss or, a hello, or it's not worth it. If I've asked for it, it doesn't count. But they count just as much as a stroke that is given to you because somebody wanted to give it to you. It counts just as much. But I can remember the first time I did this, I thought, oh, I'll ask for a hug. I want a hug. And I'll see how it feels. Oh, it felt strange. It definitely felt strange. But that hug is worth just as much as one that's given spontaneously. Interesting, isn't it? Because I get a hug. What's wrong with asking for a hug? But surely, you might say, surely if that person gives it to me because I've asked for it, they're just doing it to be nice. Well, they might have wanted to give you a hug. But parent is saying, don't give them a hug. Don't give them a hug. They might take advantage. This might happen. That might happen. So they might have wanted to. You might be standing there thinking, oh, I wish I could have a hug. They might be standing there thinking, I wish I could give a hug. But controlling parents say, no, don't be nice. Don't do that. You'll be taken advantage of. And child is saying, oh, don't ask. It's not the same if you ask. But you know what? A hug is a hug, whether you've asked for it or not. And if that hug didn't feel quite right, and you get the sense, that it wasn't given out of, they wanted to, that it was a marshmallow hug. Do you remember that? Marshmallow. Yeah, they're just doing it to be nice. Then you can just reject it and think, oh, wasn't what I wanted. But you can still ask for it. See how it feels. Don't show off. That's what parents used to say. It's rude to boast. Well, we don't want to be boastful, but we do want to think enough of ourselves, don't we? So if we won a prize at sports day, oh, don't boast. Other people can say how good it was, but we mustn't. Adapted child. And so as adults, we might stop ourselves from doing that. And so we can belittle ourselves quite a lot. Oh, it's nothing. Oh, no, anyone can do that. Yeah. But we need to self-stroke ourselves, particularly in these times. We may be living on our own. We may be, not having so much interaction with people. Self-stroking is very good for us. I'm pleased with this project bag. I've never made one before. All right, it's not perfect. It's good enough. It does the job. I'm pleased with my work. Does that sound boastful? Oh, wow. Let's enjoy it. So next time I'm going to go on and talk about the stroke bank. Let's talk about it now. It won't take long. If we get a stroke, we can hold that. We can hold that stroke and we can take it out later and we can self-stroke. When I did the, shall I, shan't I, shall I, shan't I, Chinwag, I got some nice strokes. Oh, don't give up. We enjoy it. Oh, please carry on. I've stored those away. So when I get those times of, I don't know, I can pull those out of my stroke bank and I can think, people are enjoying it. People that don't enjoy it won't stay. Well, that's fair enough, isn't it? But the people that are saying they enjoy it, please carry on. That's in my stroke bank and I can pull that out when I need a little bit of, encouragement. So what we need to do is keep this bank topped up. And if we don't accept strokes, the bank will get pretty low. We could even go into overdraft and we don't want to do that. No. So we want a nice bank of topped up strokes that we can pull on when we're feeling a bit, when we need to stroke ourselves. So we'll go on and talk about strokes even more next week. So now it's time for the little film. It's just the girls. It's just me visiting them, saying, how are you doing when you're being shut up? And so I'll see you all next time. Thanks for joining me. Oh, I was going to talk about buns. Have I got time? Well, I saw his name's, his name's John Whaite. And, he won the Bake Off and now he's on Strictly. And I subscribed to Waitrose and he'd put a recipe up and I adore buns. I mean, proper buns, you let the yeast rise. It's so easy. Anyway, I made his recipe and he describes it so well. He describes it perfectly. There's no point me filming it and put it up. I tried that for some friends and the butter slipped off the plate and I ate most of it before it went in the oven. So what are you doing?
I'm grating it so because it dissolves better and quicker and don't get a lump of
thing. So what I've got is butter, cream cheese, an egg yolk, vegetable stock cube, carrots and leeks, light olive oil, flour, salt and pepper. That's it. So leek and carrot pasties. Now first of all you make the pastry, and what you make the pastry with, what I do it as the recipe, you can make whatever you like, obviously. Oh, here's Sir. Oh, here's the squirrel going up the pole. Lovely. Righty-ho, so you've got a job to do.
What's that?
Doing all the money, and I'm doing that.
Oh,
Yeah?
I just want another cup of tea.
Right, I'll switch you off and I'll come back in a minute. So he's paying some bills, so that's good. Oh. What do you want, love?
It's a butcher bun.
No.
I'm just checking.
Yeah, he's going to pay butcher's bill. That's all right, love. Oh, now my butter's dropped off the thing. Right, it's all clean. It's all clean. I don't like it. Now look. I'm not. Oh, the pepper, can I? Not with that. I'll put the pepper on at the end. All that is butter, cream cheese and flour. So I'm just going to pop that in the fridge. I haven't seasoned to taste. And they're not tender. If you cover it, it'll get tender, won't it? I haven't got a cover. Oh, that might go in there. Oh, I'll just put that in the other saucepan. That's gorgeous. Uno, due, tre, quattro. Yeah. Oh, fold it over to form a pasty. Right, like that. Oh, can't wait. Can't wait. Okay. If you were coming for tea, I wouldn't do all the licking, but because it's Pete. Oops. One. See, you don't want it hot. I'm above the boiler here. I'm above the boiler. Oh. Slippity slop. I don't want any holes. That's it. You see, because it's just cream cheese, it moulds, but it also melts. Right, another one. Quick. This isn't like the Bake Off. Well, I haven't got Prue judging me. Nobody's judging. Oh, that is sticky. Come on. Oh, disaster. Disaster. Pinch that bit from there. If it doesn't fit, just eat it. Oh, it's a lot of cream cheese. Maybe, yeah, nothing to say really. Except put more flour on. That's it. I hope this gives you confidence to do it. And you see, that one there's a man size. Medium size for me, and then two smaller ones, but still a goodly amount. So here we are.
Oh, we're on.
That's Pete's lunch.
Oh.
A nice pasty. Do you want to taste it and see what you think? He's got his tasting hat on for some reason.
I don't want to taste it, I want to sit down and eat it.
Don't sit down and eat it.
I want some mayonnaise.
And here it is. Isn't that delicious?
Yeah, I know. Can't be bothered. Right. Oh, that's rubbish, isn't it?
Rubbish.
No, it's lovely.
It is lovely, isn't it?
I remember.
It's not like pastry, is it, Pete?
Oh, another winner.
So that's it. Went down a treat. So I'm just going to tell you that these buns, they work very well. They're mincemeat and marzipan buns. And last week I said I made a pile of mincemeat and I gave you the recipe. And it is delicious. So I used what I had left in these buns and put some marzipan in. I mean, my daughter doesn't like, both my daughters don't like marzipan or mincemeat. And so what he says is you can use apple. So I'm going to make them again and I'll show you what they turn out like next week. I'm going to put a thin layer of apple and custard and see what they turn out like. But the recipe he gave made 18 buns and jolly good sizes as well. Oh, getting indigestion talking about them. So we had a few yesterday and I put the rest in the freezer and I'll show you what they're like when I take them out tomorrow. I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining me. Bye. And what you been up to? Hey? How you been, like Sussex? How have you been? Hey? Look at you, you look well. She's got her new feathers coming. Yeah, you're gonna go and lay your egg. Good girl. Good girl. Look what you do with your food. Put it all over the floor. Now you've got some new things to keep you. That was full up this morning with broccoli and goodness knows what. That's all gone. That's good. They don't sleep in this coop at the minute. They sleep in the old coop. Let's see what's going on in here. Oh, we've got one egg. can't go out there. Usually they have all that space out there, and all that space out there, and all that space out there, but they can't go out. So you're used to a nice run around, aren't you? Have a look at that. Have a look at that. Come on now. See what you think. Yes. You gonna try it? Go on then. You try it. She's thinking of it. Something new. What's gonna happen? You try it. Got it. Oh, I like Sussex. You go and try some too.